Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivajagachari Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Oh Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya This morning we were reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order. Chapter 3 talks between Lord Shiva and Sati, and we're on text 3, or 2, sorry. We'll read 2 and 3. Yada bhikshikto dakshastu Namana parameshchina Prajapatinam sarvesham Adipatye smayo bhavat Yada bhikshikto dakshastu Namana parameshchina Prajapatinam sarvesham Adipatye smayo bhavat. Please chant. Okay. Word for word translation. Yada. When. Abhikshitaha. Appointed. Dakshaha. Daksha. To. But. Brahmana. By Brahma. Parameshtina. The Supreme Teacher. Prajapatinam. Of the Prajapatis. Sarvesham. Of all. Adipatye. As the chief. Smayaha. Puffed up. Abhavat. He became. Translation. When Lord Brahma appointed Daksha, the chief of all the Prajapatis, the progenitors of population, Daksha became very much puffed up. Purport. Although he was envious and was inimical towards Lord Shiva, Daksha was appointed the chief of all Prajapatis. That was the cause of his excessive pride. When a man becomes too proud of his material possessions, he can perform any disastrous act, and therefore Daksha acted out of false prestige. That is described in this chapter. So I'll read one more. Vishwasavajapena Pranashtanabi Puyacha Brihaspati Swayam Ama Samarebe Kratutamam. Daksha began a sacrifice named Vajapeya, and he became excessively confident of his support by Lord Brahma. He then performed another great sacrifice named Brihaspati Sava. Purport. In the Vedas, it is prescribed that before performing a Brihaspati Sava sacrifice, one should perform the sacrifice named Vajapeya. While performing these sacrifices, however, Daksha neglected great devotees like Lord Shiva. According to Vedic scriptures, the demigods are eligible to participate in yagyas and share the oblations, but Daksha wanted to avoid them. All sacrifices are intended to pacify Lord Vishnu, but Lord Vishnu includes all his devotees. Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the other demigods are all obedient servants of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is never satisfied without them. But Daksha, being puffed up with his power, wanted to deprive Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva of participation in the sacrifice. Understanding that if one satisfies Vishnu, it is not necessary to satisfy his followers, but that is not the process. Vishnu wants his followers to be satisfied first. Lord Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Vyat Dedika. The worship of my devotees is better than the worship of me. Similarly, in the Shiva Purana, it is stated that the best mode of worship is to offer oblations to Vishnu, but better than that is to worship the devotees of Krishna. Thus, Daksha's determination to neglect Lord Shiva and the sacrifices was not fitting. Om Ganativarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanaditamena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Mukum Kadidvachalam Pangam Langayate Gidim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurunde Tarinam Vancha Kapadrubhisha Kipasindabevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaurabhaktinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So, we're all of, practically speaking, what's your age? 20? 20 years old. And you're 24? You're 23, okay. So yeah, we're all here, sitting here together, coming from very different backgrounds, you could say. It means how we grew up and where we were born and what we were taught to do and what we were taught not to do, and et cetera, et cetera. There's a vast difference, you could say, of background between all of us, even ethnically. I think we're all different, actually, in regard to that. But of course, I mean, sometimes people, they think that, Bhagavad Gita is for the Hindus, right? It's for the Hindu population. But actually it's not for the Hindu population, it's for the human population. So therefore, we're all sitting here studying Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. But whatever our backgrounds are, as all of us sitting in this room, we actually are all meant to learn the same lessons in life. And if we don't learn those lessons, then we just repeat. It's like just like in school. If you don't learn the material, then you're going to fail. You're going to flunk, and you have to take the course over again, right? And what do they call you? What do they call that when they call it what, holding you back or something? They hold you back, huh? Oh, I'm talking about when flunking, and then you have to in other words, you got to go through second grade again. So you go through second grade again, you go through fifth grade again, whatever. Or you go through the same courses in college so many times. So similarly, until we learn certain lessons in our lives, we actually won't graduate. We won't graduate. Means we won't graduate in this life into, the life of transcendental bliss and knowledge and all that. Will be, more or less affected by ignorance and suffering. But even, you could say more to the point is we won't graduate in the next life. In other words, we have to repeat it all over again. Samsara, birth and death. So one of the lessons that everyone has to learn within this material world, and specifically devotees, those who are, serving Krishna, serving devotees, trying to be devotees, they have to learn what is being stated within this purport. And what is that? What is being stated in the purport is that Prabhupada's quoting Lord Krishna, Prabhupada's quoting Shiva Purana, and Krishna is saying, the worship of my devotees is better than the worship of me. And better than the worship of Vishnu is better than is worship of the devotees. So this is, you could say, one of the lessons that we have to learn. And until we learn that, we actually cannot satisfy Krishna, and we won't be satisfying Krishna. We may think we are satisfying Krishna by our whatever it is. We may offer the most opulent garland to Krishna. We may offer the best incense. We may offer all types of organic food and pure water and et cetera, et cetera. We may put on our perfect tilak and and our ironed dhotis, right? Iron kurtas. We may bow down with so much grace and this and that, but until we actually learn how to satisfy devotees, it actually won't be satisfying to Krishna. So that's one of the things we have to learn in life, one of the lessons. And you could say by learning this lesson, I mean, so much is taken care of actually, because by that we're satisfying Krishna, we'll be more Krishna conscious, we'll be more happy, things will go on better. So to learn that lesson. Now, of course, then the question is, okay, well, when will we learn? When will we learn that? I mean, again, we can learn that quickly, or may take some time, may take lives. So, but we should try to learn as soon as possible. So, and also we should think practically. Okay, what are some practical ways I could serve devotees? So, what would you say, Janardhan, are some practical ways? Yeah. Cooking what? Pancakes? You said cook pancakes. Okay. So you cook pancakes. That's how you serve the devotees, huh? Okay. You like that, Jamal? Does that satisfy you? Okay. All right. And what would you say, Jamal? Or anybody else? What are some ways, some practical ways? So you could say that that's kind of serving the bodily, spiritual needs of devotees, making pancakes, right? So then there's other ways we serve the devotees, right? We say like physically, say emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. So what are some other ways, practical ways we could serve devotees? Yeah, any different ways. Guidance, counsel, teaching. So yeah, teaching, guidance, counsel. Kind of, that falls into the spiritual realm or even emotional, you know, you're helping them. And also, yeah, physically, I mean, if you see massaging, yeah. Massage the lotus feet of the devotees or the lotus, whatever, legs of the devotees or whatever. So yeah, so massaging, cooking, reading together, teaching, guidance. If you see a devotee's like freezing, you know, you may have like 50 pairs of socks, and you see a devotee's freezing, doesn't have any socks, and you can say, hey, you need some socks. So there's different ways we could serve, practical ways we could serve. So yeah, if we think about that, think about the ways which we could serve, and then we try to do it, you know, we try to do that. And you could say one of the best ways we could serve devotees is actually just to be a good example. Because sometimes the younger devotees, they may look up to whatever the older devotees and say, and they're expecting them to be good examples, you know, for like inspiration and all that, which is true. It's for the older devotees, they could serve younger devotees like that by being a good example. That's true. They should. But also, because we're all, I mean, to certain people, you know, in other words, all of us in this room, you're older than someone in Krishna consciousness, right? There's somebody younger than you in Krishna consciousness, and then there's somebody older than you, right? So you're looking up to the people who are older than you in Krishna consciousness, expect them to be a good example, right? But you are also older than someone in Krishna consciousness, so you have to be a good example for them. See what I'm saying? And aside from that is, even if somebody's older than you in Krishna consciousness, they could actually gain a lot of inspiration from you being a good example. In other words, from you being enthusiastic. Because, you know, and you ask anybody, you ask whatever, Bajranayan Swami, Dravida Prabhu, you know, when they see young guys come and they're very enthusiastic, that helps them actually, like brings life into them. So it works both ways. So just as a young devotee should be, you know, looking up to older devotees for inspiration and a good example, similarly the older devotees are also looking to the younger devotees for inspiration and even in examples. So in this way we feed off each other's energy. And actually, as time goes on, the more advanced we actually make, we see that we see all the devotees as our gurus. We should. It's a good, of course, with intelligence and discrimination and all that. The point is, we take good from everybody. We take the good from everybody. So yeah, so again, one of the best things we could do for ourselves and also other people in relation to serving Vaishnavas is we could just try to be enthusiastic. I mean, if those who chant the Gayatri mantras, they'll see that Prabhupada lists them in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says that they're about the Lord Chaitanya, one's about the Guru, one's about Krishna, right? Now all those mantras, if you look at them, they're all heading in a particular, they're all pointing in a particular direction. In other words, what the essence of a lot of those mantras is it's talking about enthusiasm. So it's saying, you know, to the Guru praying, please enthuse me, right? To Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please enthuse me. To Krishna, please enthuse me. Because this enthusiasm, without it, somebody's like practically dead. I mean, They're like a dead man without enthusiasm. So therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right, said those who have life, in other words, those who have enthusiasm, they can preach. A dead man can't preach. So we're talking about that enthusiasm. So the one of the best ways, again, which we could serve others is just to be enthusiastic. Whether we're young or old or this or that or whatever, be enthusiastic. And the spiritual master of the devotees, hopefully we'll get some service that challenges us. That's if we're lucky. We'll get some service that challenges us. My spiritual master, he has had his challenges has his challenges in relation to serving his spiritual master, just as we have our challenges. But he was there in Juhu, right? Bombay, Mumbai, present Mumbai. So, as I'm sure all of you've heard some of the history, but so it was there's nothing there in Juhu, right? It was just fields, and it was by the ocean there, and there's a few hotels. Some people would come there. Now it's got really built up. So Prabhupada, he wanted. I think there's a political campaign going on right there. Something's going on. So Prabhupada, he saw this land, and he wanted this land, right? And it's a big, long story, and they're fighting over it, this and that, and so many things were happening. My Guru Maharaj is actually, he's writing a book about it, and the first draft's done. So it'll be coming out, maybe within a year or something. That book, it's a big book. It's like 800 pages, all about this Juhu. Because Srila Prabhupada said, because there's this, rascal guy, Mr. Nair, and he was trying to cheat the devotees and causing so much problems. So Prabhupada said, once they got the land and they were building the temple, Srila Prabhupada said, that was a good fight. And then Prabhupada said, somebody should write a book about it. That's what Prabhupada said. So then, because my Guru Maharaj was there from the beginning, he took it as his service to do that. So anyways, he's writing the book. So, but when he was there as a young man, young brahmachari, there's maybe 10, 12 devotees there, and because it was so difficult, devotees would leave left and right. It was just so difficult. I mean, what they would eat, it was just like rice and like watery dal, and if you're lucky, you get some vegetables once in a while, and you get maybe fruit once a week. And then Pavamana was telling me, because Pavamana Prabhu was there. He said that in order to preach, you had to walk from like the temple. You can imagine. Oh, is that my? Or should I stop now? No. You got to walk from the temple. Imagine this, all the way down to the freeway, walking in the hot heat of Bombay. That's the first step. And then from walking, you had to take a train. Indian trains, just just tons of people and hot. You had to take a train an hour into the city of Bombay. And then you have to walk all around Bombay asking people for donations, which a temple that doesn't even exist, you're just showing them pictures, like, oh, we'll give you these books. But they already had a few books, right? All in the hot, and then these guys were just, giving them a few rupees or something, just like nothing. In other words, they're getting rejected left and right. And then you had to travel all the way back. And then there was no prasad, hardly little prasad when you get back, and it was just like very difficult. And mosquitoes and rats infested. Very difficult place. So people were leaving left and right. So then, so two devotees happened to leave. And then Prabhupada was there, and then all the devotees, so they're having like Ishtagoshi. All the devotees were there, Prabhupada was there. My Guru was there, and my Guru Maharaj said he didn't have an inclination to like manage, He didn't want to do it. So anyways, he just wanted to go out and preach and stuff like that. So then, but then Prabhupada, he was looking for somebody to take over the service of being the manager and overseeing things like that. So then Prabhupada, he looked out at the devotees and he said, so yeah, we need someone to take up this service of leading this project. And all the devotees were quiet. Remember when Nitya Gaur was here, and we'd have a little gathering after the Bhagavatam class, and hey, we need some devotees to do services. You know, we need someone to do this, we need someone to do that. And then it'd just be like quiet. Just be like absolutely quiet, you know. And Nitya would say, hey, don't everyone sign up at once, you know. And still devotees were quiet, you know. And then, anyways, it was kind of funny. So it was just quiet, you know. Prabhupada asked him, but it was just quiet. And then Prabhupada looked at my spiritual master and he said, so Giraj, you will take charge? And then he said in his mind, well, he said he probably like physically winced, you know, kind of like, oh no, not me, you know. So he said, Giraj, you'll take charge? And then he said that he knew that the secret of success in spiritual life is pleasing the spiritual master. So then he said, yes, I'll do it. And then Prabhupada said to him, he said, okay, so the whole responsibility now falls on your shoulders, you know. And then he said, my guru said at the time he was just, you know, his mind, he was thinking, how could Prabhupada do this? You know, that's what his mind was thinking. But he said with his intelligence, he knew that Prabhupada was guiding him properly. So anyways, he accepted it, and even though it was challenging. That's the point, that we have to accept something that's challenging. He struggled there for years, and Prabhupada was very happy with him. And then the big temple, now you go there, it's one of the biggest temples in the world. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are getting benefit from visiting that temple. So we all have our challenges to take. It probably won't be like that, but whatever the case is, we have our challenges, and we should take them happily. And also in relation, because this is relation to devotees, that it's not just us and Krishna, or it's not just us and the spiritual master, it's us and Krishna and the spiritual master and the devotees. Again in Bombay, Prabhupada was there and he was sick. It was 1977, very sick in his room, and he wasn't coming out. So Tamal Krishna Goswami was the personal secretary, and then Giraj Swami was also there. So they were both there, and you know, Prabhupada was in his room, and then he had a big room. So there's a big room here, and then there's doors. There's a door, right? And then you go, and then there's another room, and then there's another set of doors. So Giraj Swami and Tamal Krishna Goswami were all the way out here, like a far distance from Prabhupada. So then Tamal Krishna Goswami asked Giraj Swami, he said, I need you to go to the bank and deposit some money. Can you please go to the bank and deposit some money? And then Giraj Swami said, I'm the temple president. Can't you ask somebody else? In the sense, he said that in the sense he was thinking that, like, I could do things that others can't do, but anybody could go to the bank. So why don't you just, you know, ask somebody else? And he said maybe there was a little false ego there or whatever. So then they were going back and forth, but they were very quiet, like they were whispering, you know, very hush hush, because they didn't want to disturb Prabhupada, very quiet. So then all of a sudden they hear Prabhupada ring his bell, or they press a button like a buzzer. So then Giraj Swami and Tamal Krishna Goswami, they go in, and then they sit by Prabhupada. They're very happy because they haven't seen Prabhupada for days, they're very sick, whatever. So Giraj Swami is very happy to go in. So then they go in, they're both sitting there, and then Prabhupada looks at Giraj Swami and he says, if the spiritual master asks you to go to the bank and deposit some money, and you do not do that, he said, that is not surrender, you know. And then Giraj Swami said, he said later he was reflecting and he goes, how on earth did he know that? Because it was like large distance of space, and they were very quiet, talking very quiet. And then he was thinking, oh, maybe Prabhupada was reading my mind or something like that. But then one devotee said that it also could have been Prabhupada has very acute senses, you know, he hears very. So, but this was an interesting point that Prabhupada was making, that he is saying if the spiritual master asks you to go to the bank and deposit, and you don't, that's not surrender. So he was wanting His Holiness Giraj Swami to see Tamal Krishna Goswami as the representative of Prabhupada and to act accordingly. In other words, to not be rebellious, to follow. Because generally that's how it is, right? The representatives of the spiritual master are a lot of the times looking after the spiritual master's disciples. So yeah, this is the point, that it's not just the spiritual master, it's not just Krishna, but it's devotees of Krishna. And the more we could be in that mood, we'll actually be a lot happier and more satisfied. And we'll be more satisfying to Prabhupada, our spiritual master, Krishna, like that. Or else it's just the same old disease, the same old false ego, same old pride, same nonsense, as always. And that's the same nonsense that keeps us coming back here, life after life after life. And even if we don't, let's not even go that far, going life after life. Let's just keep it in this life. It's the same nonsense that keeps us, suffering over and over and over again. If we want to just bring it to day. So the way we could be happy and satisfied is just by being humble and, cooperating with devotees, serving devotees, associating with devotees, not being puffed up. That's how we could actually be satisfied. And so we should think like that, not be like Daksha, all, as Prabhupada says here, he's all puffed up and thinking he's very great, and Shiva. That's the problem with this disease, is that it's really problematic actually, that Daksha, Shiva is so qualified, super qualified. In the Bhagavatam he says, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. He's one of the most qualified, the best Vaishnav. Of course it says it about Govardhan and Radharani too, but the best Vaishnav. And Daksha is still puffed up and thinking, oh, Shiva, he's just nonsense. He's a fool. Practically speaking, that's what he's thinking, he's a fool. Dirty fool, So that's the problem with this pride, is that it's one thing to think, oh yeah, I'm great, and be all puffed up, and then and then to, you could say, diss, people who maybe aren't so qualified. But the problem with this pride is that it's so insane, it's such an insane state, is that if we let it get out of control, we actually offend people who are super qualified, like fools offending Prabhupada or something. They become so puffed up that, oh, what does Prabhupada know about Sanskrit? What blah 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 blah, and they start, criticizing a very qualified person. So that's the problem. So we always have to check it. Always keep the animal in the cage, so to speak. And in this way, we'll actually rise higher and higher and higher and make advancement. So does anyone have any questions or comments? You don't have to. It's okay. If not, we'll just move on. You have a question? No? Okay. All right. Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Dharma Setra Prabhu is going to give class tomorrow, and then maybe if Javita Prabhu's be back, he'll give Wednesday, or I'll give, and then Dharma Setra is going to give class Thursday too. I don't know, maybe he'll give class Thursday, Dharma Setra. Then Friday we can listen to Prabhupada, and then when Javita Prabhu gets back, we'll start this following Prabhupada on Monday. Yeah. Okay. But we could listen to Prabhupada on Friday. And then start following Prabhupada on Monday.